right, it's time. So first of all, you'll see also in the future, when we are announcing things, I post it first on Slack. So here you see that I'm showing the sound announcements on Slack. 1 second, let me adjust my OBS setting a little bit. Okay, good. You should still be able to hear me, right? Okay, if you can, please say yes. All right, so there's only one announcement today, okay? And the announcement would appear here, right at the announcement channel. Very good, thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So there's this announcement channel. I don't know if you see. Yeah, you probably don't see very well my cursor moving there. So there's an announcement channel. So if you just go here, so it's the channel that's highlighted in blue, because the rest of the bar is in purple. Yeah, my cursor didn't show. I should probably have the setting. Okay, so give me a second. Let me try adjust my OBS setting. I really need it to show. Well, it doesn't seem that I can show the cursor there. Okay, well, can you see? Oh, okay, so you do see the highlight, except that you just don't see the cursor. Okay, so the announcement is right here. Okay, for week 1. By the way, the end of the week, Saturday, quiz 1 and number 2 will be doing. Okay, and the due time is exactly 6 p.m. right here. All right, so the announcements in the future would pop up in this announcement channel. So it's right here. There are other channels. For example, the Ask Us Anything channel. So this is where you type up questions. Okay. If you don't feel like doing it on YouTube, you can do it here as well. So every now and then in the class, we'll come back to the Slack and check out the questions. There are also channels such as random. So if you feel that the things you want to talk about is not quite in the announcement category, not quite in the QA category, it can show up in the random category. Okay. And many of you probably don't see the random channel. And look at this. W1 Quiz 1 channel. So these two, random and W1 Quiz 1 channels, these are the channels that you need to join explicitly. Unlike the announcement and Ask Us Anything channels, those are the channels that everyone would join as soon as you join the workspace. So you have to add these channels, random and W1 Quiz 1. How? You can come to the channels. Okay, so this is at the top. And click Add. Then you should see that you can browse channels and create channels. Well, I think your access right does not allow you to create channels, but at least you should be able to browse channels. So click Browse Channel. Yeah, that should give you all the channels available. And then you can pick and choose the channels you want to join. And you can also pick and choose the channels you want to leave. Okay. So for you guys, I'm thinking that you guys probably see the join button here. Okay, so this is how you add a channel, discover channel. Okay. All right, so random channel, for example, if you don't want to bother, hearing people's random thoughts, it's okay to not join, because that way you don't get notifications. Okay, good. So this is how we are going to go over the announcements every week, every lecture. And then we move on next to the topics. Wait 1 second. So the first part of today is going to be more class admin. Sorry, but Polly, I can't hear you. Oh, that's important. You need to hear you. So CTL bore, you don't hear me. Guys, okay, the students other than CTL, do you guys hear me? You should still be able to hear me. If you do, can you type yes? So it could be, yeah, so other students can hear me. CTL, you need to troubleshoot your audio device a little bit more. Maybe the Bluetooth is not quite connected. Yeah, quite well. Great, thank you. Because I purchased a new microphone. Yeah, I did the technical problem. I've solved it. Great. Okay, so feel free, just ask. Because for many of you, this is probably the first fully online course. Sorry though, no problem. There might be other students experiencing the same thing. Good, so it took me a while to get used to OBS. I guess you guys can see that my design of the screen is a little bit better than last semester and better than the last semester. Yeah, I spent the summer watching lots of videos, watching how the streamers arrange their things. To my surprise, some of them are really good out there. Okay, so if you guys are interested in communicating with other people this way, definitely check out those people who are very good at doing this. Okay. I consider the date in Q3 seem to be a bit weird. You know what? It might be. Okay, so Yunqi, could you hold on to it? So hey, you guys know how to add a channel, but I'm just bring up the W1 quiz 1 channel early so that you know how to add a channel. So when it's time we talk about quiz 1, then you see the exact questions, but don't try to work on them yet during the lecture before the quiz is popping up. Okay, but Yunqi, I know maybe the dates are not quite right. Let me see. Okay, so that might not be correct, but my stream, the site of quiz 1 will be correct. I'll come back to fix the slide that fix the picture that I uploaded to W1 quiz 1 when it's time for quiz. Okay, so try to follow the lectures. Okay, it doesn't take too much time because this video form is great. A lot of times when Polly talk, I just talk and talk. It's an occupational hazard because professors, after a while, we get used to the mode of talking and taking all the silent time. It's actually we trying to be kind to the students, but it become a habit, which is a bad habit. Doing this video mode, you'll find absorbing the technical stuff that's important is a lot more efficient because professors will need to think about the content and then organize it and say it in a brief way, but concise, okay? Not too brief and not overly long. So it will feel like, oh, okay, cool, that's it. Only 3 minutes and I pick up this. Okay, something like that. No problem. Okay, so next, 3 sets of video. First, very brief, the class admin. Second, we'll talk about the technical content and the schedule. Lastly, very important, the grading policy. And then we'll head straight to quiz 1. So here's the first video. The class admin. The most important information is the course page. It's the central hub of everything. Once you get access to the course page, you get access to everything. So scan the binary code. It should take you to the course page right away. Now the URL of the course page is super long. It's not possible to memorize. So in case you're on the run and using somebody else's browser, to find the course page, Google Poly. It will take you to Poly's webpage. There's a link right at the front saying teaching. Click into there. you should find a page where Polly lists all the lectures that she has given before. Right underneath the Introduction to Computer Networks category, there's a link, Fall 2021. Click in. You should see the course page. Next, the admin information. Very straightforward. Let me just go over it real quick. All lectures on YouTube. The Wednesday lecture is after lunch for an hour. Thursday lectures is before lunch for about 2 hours. Polly's office is in BL building, 玻璃馆. All NTU buildings are a little bit restrictive these days, so I'm not quite sure if the non-EE students will be able to get in. Okay. So if you really want to see me in person and you don't have access to BL building, email me first. Okay, or post, okay, private message, direct message me on Slack. Okay. So in a way, the best way to find Polly is where? Sending emails. Or now, if you are already on the Slack workspace, just type up questions. The office hour is right after the Thursday lecture during the lunch. Okay. So if you are just typing questions up, feel free to do so as you have lunch. It's not recommended that you have lunch in the middle of using the brain and having, technical discussions. But this seems to be the best time for most of the students. Okay, but if it's not good for you in any case, again, send me email or contact me on Slack to set up an appointment. Otherwise, right, if it's on Slack, it's easy. Otherwise, you can also try Google Meet with me in case you prefer verbal, okay, having visual interaction. Now, in person is of course possible, but you need access to the BL building. So you might need to Slack me first or email me first. Now, if you do come to the office, make sure you have the mask on. Now, there's no TA for the semester because it's actually not that easy to find a TA for the course because the TA need to be fluent in English, the natural language interface, as well as Golang, the programming interface. So this semester, Polly will also be your TA. And that was the first part. All right. So now let's go to the second part, talk about the technical content and the schedule of the course. Let's talk about the technical content we'll be covering this semester. So this internet... Oopsie. Sorry. Let's talk about the technical content we'll be covering this semester. So this will be your first course on the internet. We do not assume you know anything about the internet, but we assume you have the basic knowledges about computers and you know how to program. That's why these courses are the prerequisites. You must know how to program. You must also know what's inside a computer. So you need to know how to program using a compiler-based programming language, such as Python, C, C++, or Java. Now, if the only programming language you know is JavaScript, be careful. That's a scripting language. The coding style is somewhat different. You might need some time to adapt yourself into the compiler-based programming language's programming style. You need to know the computers. Inside a computer, if you recall, there's CPU, very important, right? The memory, also very important. And then there's hard drive, display, keyboard, the peripherals. Between the main components and the peripherals, there's a bus. That's connecting everybody together. The thing together is a computer system. Internet. In order to access internet, we add one more peripheral called the network interface card. So this card here is another peripheral that allow the system here, allow the computer here to send messages out onto the internet to another computer. In this Introduction to Computers course, you should also learn about within a computer, we pass data around as well between the main memory and the hard drive all the time. Okay? What's so powerful about the internet and the relevance of this course to this Introduction to Computer course and Operating System course is that internet, network interface card, extends the reach of the data we are producing or we are looking for from within the computer to outside of your computer to the internet. So definitely must have Introduction to Computer Networks. If you do have advanced programming training, or you have taken courses about data structure, or better yet, algorithm and operating system, great. Those will work to your advantage. But be careful though, internet as opposed to operating system, we have a whole new suite of mechanisms that we need to learn. Programming, doing sake programming. So sake programming is the kind of programming we'll be doing. It's very different from the other programming assignments you run into taking the data structure course, taking an average computer programming course, taking a machine learning course. In those courses, you learn the API to do computations mainly, okay, to do input-output. You most of the time try to come up with an algorithm or better algorithm to make sure that things are complete or complete real fast. Okay. The kind of programming we're doing, sake programming, is to ensure that we call the API in a correct way and we send the message in the right format so that the computers outside on the internet will be able to take the message in and interpret the content and send the corresponding responses that we're asking for. And once the message is in, we need to know the API to extract the data, interpret the content, and send more message, okay, accordingly. So the type of programming we'll be doing here in this course, very different from most of the programming assignments that you run into. Taking a computer programming course, taking a machine learning course. Okay. And here's how we are going to introduce the internet. We'll break it into components and introduce them one at a time. So you'll learn about what these components are. Most of the components are straightforward, but some of them, there could be mechanisms running to sustain the operation of the internet. So we'll learn about how these mechanisms work. We'll go one more step further. Learn about why these mechanisms work this way. Okay, you'll see that there's certain classes of problems that network engineers repeatedly trying to address. Mainly about how we make sure the messages are received correctly. Mainly, the messages are delivered efficiently. Internet is the subject of our study here. We know it's huge, not only because we have many machines connected to it, but also there's so many mechanisms being designed and implemented for it today. Now, in order to introduce them, we try to break them into categories. Okay, and the way that we categorize things is we call them layers. So it's kind of, 1, 2, 3 layer. Okay, some at the top and some at the bottom. Okay, the top layer is called the application layer. Second, transport layer. Third, network layer. Bottom, link layer. Now this is also about the order of the chapters in the textbook. Okay, at the top, we talk about the mechanisms support individual applications operation. Each application typically one mechanism to determine how messages are being sent and how messages are interpreted when they come back. So in the application layer, we have many applications. We have a high diversity of applications on the internet today. And each of them, application layer mechanism, or let me introduce the term, protocol, application layer protocol. One application, one protocol, and this protocol is determining how you send the message out. So at the application layer, many protocols, each of them very simple, serving the purpose of the application they're designed for. Specific, simple. One layer down, the transport layer, you'll see that the number of mechanisms that we need to design and implement much smaller. Okay? You can count them using within 10 fingers. So number of mechanisms quickly shrink. And the mechanisms we need to design are to serve more general purposes. For example, how we send data correctly, reliably, how we send data efficiently. In fact, these functions are there to support the application layer protocol, because some applications might data to send reliably. Some applications might data being sent efficiently over being reliably. Okay, so we see one layer down. Mechanisms, fewer, more general, and slightly more complicated. One more layer down, the network layer. So the functionality quickly shrink down to just two. The two mechanisms are called the routing and forwarding. So these are the mechanisms that's running in the very center part of the internet. So hey guys, didn't we just say that the internet, on it, many machines are connected to it? So I, in my machine, connected to the internet. You guys, your machines connected to the internet. But all these machines are called the end systems, and we are called the end users. To connect the end systems together, there is a core network, the internet core. And that network is composed by many routers. These routers, the reason they're called routers is because their main functionality is to find a route, so they can forward messages. So my video here gets to you, forwarding the video segments to you. Okay. So at that layer, even fewer functionality, even more general functionality. And you can imagine the mechanism being even more complicated. So in that chapter, you will then run into an algorithm that you might learn in the algorithm course. And unfortunately, these three layers will be the only layers we can cover this semester. The link layer and the mechanisms to support mobile wireless networking, to support multimedia networking, to support secure transfer, for example. These we won't have time to cover. Hopefully there will be another course that follow this one and finish teaching all these additional mechanisms. Syllabus and schedule. Poly has divided the semester into 3 parts. And guess why? To correspond with the 3 layers of protocols we need to talk about. Okay. And that is why you see here in the first part, the main content is application layer protocol. There'll be 1.5 week time we need to spend talking about the basic terminologies and giving you an introduction. Okay? A more detailed introduction than what I was just talking about, the 3 layer protocols. Internet has a core. At the end of the first 1/3, we would conclude with an exam. And the scope of the exam will be exactly overview chapter and application layer chapter. The exam is going to be on Thursday, October 28th. PAs will be doing along as we progress through the lectures. PA number 1 is doing the end of the 2nd week. Okay. You see, in order to start working on the PAs, you need to have an account. But the accounts, I need to wait until you guys finish forming the team. Each team receive an account. Okay, because PA is a team effort. So the 2 or 3, or maybe you will work along, of you as a team will work together. Okay, so therefore you can understand why we need to finish forming the team by the end of the first week. Okay. So that's the first part. Second part corresponds to the transport layer. Okay, very straightforward. Exam number 2 on Thursday. It's gonna run almost 2 hours, and more PAs doing. Okay. You see that the PA assignments are doing in a very condensed way, but no worry, these 2 assignments are relatively easy, PA 5 and 6. And the last part corresponds to the network layer. Exam last week of lectures on Thursday. Again, almost 2 hours, including the preparation time and stuff. Just 2 more PAs due, but these 2 PAs in the end are not trivial. All right, so that was scope, content. Any questions here? Okay, if you have any, just type it up as we move on to the third part, grading. Let's talk about how you earn grades, credits at the end of the semester. There'll be 100 points to distribute, and they are distributed into 3 categories. So your work here, so by homework I actually meant PAs. So these PAs altogether counts 35%. First one, very straightforward, counts only 3. The others, each counts 4 points. So you see that these PAs are important. Second category is interaction. That includes quizzes, answering quizzes, answering the quizzes in an interesting way, as well as participation, asking questions, answering questions asked by other students, or answering questions asked by Polly. Third category, exams. There will be 3 exams, each 10 points. So you see altogether 35, 35, 70 already. Exam is in fact the lowest weight among the 3 categories. Now this is just another way to break down the 100 points by whether they are teamwork or individual effort. For PAs, you work as a team. For quizzes, you also work as a team. So you discuss, you work on it. One of you represent the whole team and submit solutions. That will be fine. As the individual, participation counts based on who you are. Okay. Teammates don't get extra credits. Exams, this is also individual effort. Each of them have 30 points to earn there. But you see, the teamwork part counts 65 points. Therefore, your team is very important. So you want to find people responsible as well. Okay, so the team can have 2 people, 3 people, as well as 1 by yourself. So loners allowed. The same members, you'll be working as a group throughout the semester. So these are the things you'll be working in a group. Occasionally, I think once in like 3-4 years, there'll be students asking to break up from the team. Okay. That is also allowed. Okay. I thought that would be interesting for you to observe. If you fail to manage your time well, you're dragging your teammates down and they might get angry. And I would also like those who find their teammates are not responsive and not contributing enough. You get angry, right? You get this emotion. But maybe the teammate was just not very good at managing time. College is a period of time you learn how to manage time and manage emotion. Okay, so I don't know if there will be breakups this semester. We'll see. Here's to talk a little bit more specific about each category that you are earning grades. So homework assignments, essentially PAs. You guys will be working on a Unix workstation that I'll be giving you the user account and the password so you can log on. If you take a look at the PA assignments description, you will see a little bit more how you log on and try and follow through the description to complete the assignment. Okay. And for the socket programming part, you'll be using Golang. All the submissions are in electronic format. From the description, you will see how you submit. Stage 1 is for you to exercise a particular type of socket which is commonly used. It's called the TCP socket. PA1, you just need to log on to a Unix server and exercise the basic Unix commands, so you know how to go places and generate files, edit files. PA2, the first serious Golang assignment, accessing file, but we are not doing socket yet. Okay, how do you read from a file? How do you write into a file? PA3, now, can you read from a file and upload that file to a server, or upload to a server. So you're writing a client to upload the file. The server is waiting for the file to come. Okay. PA4. Now turn around. You are implementing the server side taking files. Okay. And it's a server that takes only one file upload and close. PA5, it's a looping server. That server will stay on, so we could accommodate multiple file uploads, okay, from different clients. PA6 is to further extend the PA5 server such that not only we can take multiple uploads, these multiple uploads can be simultaneous. Okay, so the uploads can be coming in at the same time, or coming in such that it feels like the files are uploaded at the same time. Okay, it's a concurrent server. So this is a series of assignments, exercises, so that you do socket programming. As a result, you are capable of writing client side of application, a file upload application, and sophistic server side, okay, of the file upload server, file upload application. Second stage, we switch gear. Golang is a programming language, comes with lots of side libraries. One of them is the web server is already implemented there. Okay, you just need to call the APIs the correct way, then you already set up a web server. Okay, so in this stage, there are 3 PAs. First is for you to write a web request interpreter. So this is to write the web server side. After receiving a web request, interpreting the content of the request. The web request is a message coming from a web client. Okay, the server needs to first get it and interpret it. Next, again, progressively in PA8, you finish the second part of the server, which is to generate the file, the web page the client is looking for. So you generate the response. So web response sender. Generate a response and send it back to the client. Third, nowadays, hey, there are pretty much no HTTP servers around. All of the servers are HTTPS. How do you make your server a secure web server, an HTTPS server? Okay, so second stage, 9 PAs. Now, just one more thing. For the PAs, there's a PA description. It's a PDF file. You read through it and work on the PA. There's also a set of assistive videos. If you ever get stuck, watch the videos. If you feel Polly is talking too slow, just, it's YouTube video, right? Speed it up to 2 times, 1.5 times. And get to the point you get stuck and you see how Polly, okay? Maybe Polly talk about think this way, think that way in the video. So the PAs The description as well as the assistive, the series of videos are there to help you so that you can work along. And the whole set together is to make up for the 2 weeks we don't have lectures. The difference is just that you guys need to work on the PA during the 16 weeks that we have lectures. So I'm kind of, making things also concurrent. So your semester is a little bit, for this course, is a little bit more compact. And then the 2 more weeks there, you don't have to do anything for this course. Okay? But busier the first 16 weeks. All right, so let's take a pause here because I'm getting quite a few questions. So let me just go through the questions, and so that you guys have pieces of mind, and we can move on to the second part of grading. So let me roll back a little bit here. Yeah, I think Liang Yu started by asking, is there a platform for finding a teammate? You know that finding teammates is very important for this course, right? 65 points are all team effort. So suggestion, hey, we have the Slack workspace. There's a random channel, remember? Yeah, how about posting yourself, right? Describe yourself a little bit and see if there's like a small team being formed already and looking for a third member. Or maybe there are also some loners there looking for teammates. You guys can try to mingle and find potential teammates there. Okay, so thank you, Liang Yu, for asking the question. I think many of you are probably having the same question. Okay, how do I find a teammate? Given that we are on this virtual platform, I mean, yeah, you don't see each other. So Slack workspace. I think you can actually also call each other on Slack. Have you guys tried that out? So I kind of saw that somewhere at some point. Okay, so give it a try. And then Yaqing asked about, the act code. So I will be distributing the act codes next Thursday. But I'm asking you guys to form team and work on quiz 1 and 2 now. I understand. So just 2 quizzes. They are quite straightforward and easy for fun, really. Okay, so try to stick around. And if there are any 2 people team looking for members, and you are not quite sure whether you'll be able to stay, I think joining those 2-person teams will be a good option, okay, in case you couldn't get in. Okay. From what I see on the Slack workspace, we have something like 30-something students. We might be okay. I just need the size of the class to be below 40. Okay. Slightly higher than 40 might be okay. So I would say that the chance is high that if the wait list order you have is within like 15, 18, you'll be pretty safe. Let's see. Yu Xiang was asking, okay, so would I be introducing Saki programming later during the lectures? Well, very, very good question. I won't be showing those videos live during the lectures. Those videos, the PA assignments are designed such that it's self-learn. But it will be very hard to self-learn with just textual information. So I generated many walkthrough videos. So in case you get stuck, you need to see how exactly people do it. You can watch how I do it in the video. Okay, so it's a assisted self-learn. I hope that it works for you. I think from previous semesters, some students actually like the PAs better than attending the live lectures. Okay, so hope that you like learning how to program as well. And Jiayou, I want to know the way to calculate participation grades. Does it need to compare with other students in the end of the semester? Yes, you are. And that is exactly the question to bring up the next video. Next, the quizzes. They will just pop up in the middle of the lecture, but these problems are related to the topics we just talked about or we will be talking about. So you'll be given time to work on the quizzes in class. Those straightforward quizzes will be given shorter amount of time. Those that are a little bit more open, that requires creativity and brainstorming, will be given more time. So you guys try to find your teammate, establish another channel like a line chat group there to have discussion, and type up the conclusion. Type up whatever you have on Slack, and this is what typically students do. There's going to be a channel created for each quiz. Okay, so when I say quiz time, okay, then I'm going to introduce the quiz, and then you can go see if the channel is right there on Slack and type up your solution there. All right, so post your solutions on Slack, okay, right there in class. Definitely, that's great. We'll talk about the solutions in class. Now, those who prefer to watch videos offline, type up your solution by Saturday, 6 p.m. And this is for the quizzes given that week. Okay. Now, some of you might prefer verbally tell me what you have come up with. It's okay. You can call in using Google Meet and just speak about it. Now, the quiz part of the grade is going to be graded based on completion rate. If you finish 3/4 of them, you get 3/4 of the 25 points. Those solutions, okay, that are thoughtful, unique, and those that are quick and amazing gets extra points. So there'll be 5 extra points reserved to those teams who are particularly creative, particularly thoughtful, particularly quick, okay, at typing things up. Okay. So together, quiz, 30 points. The PAs and the quizzes, they all come with the due date and due time. If you submit late, there's going to be a penalty. And the amount of penalty depends on how late you are. If you are late only a few minutes within an hour, 10% deducted. Beyond 1 hour, but within 6 hours, 20%. So you can follow this chart here and see that if it's more than 1 day late, all points are taken. Okay, so be careful. Don't be late. Class participation. So there's 5 points towards the semester grade comes from participation. Essentially, all interactions count. Therefore, when you are interacting with me, with other students, identify yourself. So all interactions, including on Slack, on YouTube, as well as email. Right there live during the lecture or offline, okay, all counts. So it's not just interacting with me, but also interacting with the other students. This part of the grade is going to be based on a curve. Some of you might be more active, some of you might be less active. Okay, we'll scale the 5 points across from 0 to 5 to those who participate more versus less. Okay, so there's going to be a maximum point, participation points, and minimum participation points, and they'll be scaled to 0% to 5%. Exam. We know that it's going to be in Google form. The all Google Forms, including the all exams, are all available from the exam link from the course page. Definitely try them out. In addition to working on the Google Forms, most of these questions are in the Q&A form. You will see. You need to also join a Google Meet video session. So you need to have a working camera. You need to have a stable internet connectivity as well, so that at least we could check the picture on your ID. You need to show your ID. We need to see the picture on the ID and your face right there in front of the camera. And throughout the exam, we need to show yourself also shoulder up in front of the camera, so we could see that you are busy working on the exam instead of chatting, talking, okay, to other people. There's no early or makeup exam because it's online. You can take it anywhere around the world, okay, as long as there's internet access. Now, in case we find any weird behavior, you receive 0 for the grades, and we report to the department in the university. Okay. It's as simple as that. And hey guys, you don't really need to do it. Okay. We all make mistakes. Okay. We can be wrong. Okay. Did Polly mention that she's wrong all the time pretty much? Because there's a lot of information here. It's very easy for me to mix things up. Hey, if I mix you guys up, hey, it happened every semester. Okay, please forgive Polly for that. Okay. You see, it's okay to make mistakes. College is the period of time that is exactly for you to discover who you are, for you to identify who you are, for you to see that it's actually better to be yourself than being somebody else or being somebody that other people expect you to be. It's really hard to live a life that way. And not to mention, even if you fail the course, unfortunately, Polly will still love you, okay, no matter what. Okay, and no matter what the exam outcomes are, keep in mind. No. It's like, yeah, this is a lot more fashionable. Okay, lots of love. But you do need to think about the amount of time you have before taking the course. Okay. Polly is not nice in a way that I cannot be giving points away. Okay, because yeah, that'll be nice to you, but it will be mean to all the other students. Okay, not good, isn't it? Okay, so don't make Polly do that. Polly cannot do that. And this is just the very last segment. Material. There's a textbook. It's the very classic computer network top-down approach book. We'll use the 7th edition. There's an 8th edition, but the difference is just very little. So let's stick to the 7th edition. The goal and assignments, there's a reference book. It's freely online. The PDF is accessible from the course page. Slides in PDF format available from the course page. Videos on YouTube also available from the course page. Everything else on Slack. And if you cannot find them, just ask. So, course page, once again, and make sure that you join the Slack workspace. Are we ready? Yeah, this is the first quiz time. All right, and this is quiz number 1. So let me just read the quiz number 1 I have here because I think the dates are correct here. Okay. So, first thing, form a team of 1 to 3. After that, work on answering these questions. Q1, can you write Polly emails or messages in Chinese? Q2, what exact day is exam number 3? How much penalty for PA1 if it's submitted October 2nd, 18 hours, 0 minutes, but 0.1 second? Can you type up questions in Chinese in the live YouTube sessions? So answer these small cues and post these as a reply to Quiz 1 Pick on Slack, which is right here. Okay, so you should see in the lower right the Slack box on the screen. Okay. So definitely type up also your name, student ID, and of course all the team members. And then followed by that, the answers to Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now, there's a question that's related to doing the quiz. Yeah, I think Bo Zhi asked, Well, it's not quite asking. It's actually a good suggestion if you think about it. If I don't find teammates until the second week, is it okay to submit quiz answers by myself in the first 2 weeks? Of course. You can be loners as well. Later on, you can actually merge with other teams if they are 2 person and you're 1 person, as long as it does not exceed the maximum. Okay. So to be safe, I think this is a very good suggestion. If you're not quite sure if you're getting, but you find the quizzes are fun, you can actually pretend that you're your own team and then work on it until week 2. If you manage to get into the class and you would really like to work in a multi-person team, then look for groups that you can merge with. All right, so yeah, you'll be given time to work on it. In fact, you have 10 minutes of time, the break time, and use the random channels. Okay. Now, in case you don't find teammates all that quick within 10 minutes, of course, you can try to just type up answers yourself and later on look for teammates. And you can probably screen other students' answers and decide who you want to join and merge with. Oh, there's another question. Sean Loki. Hi, Polly. I wanted to ask about quiz 1. Does every member of the team answer or just one of the members? Very good question. Very good question. If you know there's a team already, one representing the whole team is sufficient. Okay, very good question, Sean. And guys, don't post yet because I need to delete the snapshot, the pic on the W1 Quiz 1 channel, and then upload the right one. Sorry, Chun Xian, you are too fast. Okay. Oh, thank you for removing the post. Okay, let me quickly post the right picture. Yeah, so it's time to work on the quiz, by the way. There you are. Good. Yeah, I guess for quiz 1, maybe the safest way is just, no matter what, form a 1-person team and then work on it. Oh, sorry, 那贤. My apologies. 群茂. Okay, interesting. That sounds like the name of a company, usually. 赖群茂. Okay, good to know. Hi, Mao. Okay, that will be a cute nickname, isn't it, Mao? All right, so work on the quiz. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so let me move to the Slack space so you see other students. Okay. And if you will excuse me, Polly needs to take a nature call. Okay, so I'll be right back. right, how do we do here? Wow, okay. Wow, look at this, 18 new messages. Yeah, some of you actually managed to form teams. That's great. Oh, cool. So why don't we walk through what you guys wrote? How about that? So Qi Yun says, no to Q1. One should communicate in English, including in off-class interaction. Very good. The third exam date. Yeah, it's the last exam. It is on January 6th. January the 6th. Yeah, 10% off if you submit just 1 second late. Okay? So if you're already 1 second late, you can wait maybe for a few more minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, as long as it's within an hour, it's all 10% off. Q4. Yeah, you may fall back to Mandarin or Chinese in the live session. Yes. Great. So Qi Yun did very well here. I think I can, I can do this. Right? By saying, good job. There you go. Li Jun says no. Okay. Do not send poly emails or write on the side in Chinese because they are offline. You do have time to look things up and then try to express yourself. Yeah, January 6th is the date of the third exam and 10% off if you're 1 second late. You don't see the quiz channel. Okay, 边境. This is what you do. Go here to the left. There's this purple area. There's something said channels. Okay. If you rest your cursor there, you see a plus sign. Okay. By clicking the plus sign, you can browse channels. Okay. You see all the channels there are, and there should be a channel that's called W1-Quiz1. Yeah, so go to the channels here, hit plus, browse channel. You have to add it, yes, exactly. All right, so Li Jun says, oh, okay, Li Jun is harsh. No falling back to Chinese even on YouTube Live. Well, that's safe. Okay, that's safe. Yeah, now I think about it, right? It's not exactly live right there, okay? But on Google Meet later on, if I open it up, I'm still trying to figure out exactly how that will work because the student calling in will need to mute the speaker from YouTube, okay, and talk through Google Meet. Otherwise, there's gonna be echoes, okay, circling. So I'll need to think it through and give very clear instruction for the students who will be calling in the future. So for today's quiz, there's no calling in to the Google Meet because I'm still trying to figure things out. All right, Mindy, okay. Prefer not to, very good. Oh, by the way, you can still edit your solution, okay. Oh, by the way, Li Jun, very good, check. Mind, nicely done, Mindy. And Mao here can type a little bit. Yes, you can type a little bit in Chinese. All right. Good, very good. Okay, got to do check on mouse solution. Yu Xiang, Yu Xiang has already a 2-person team. Okay, so you are teaming up with Yan You, right? Yes, you may fall back. Very good. So you see Q4, it's in the gray zone. Some say yes, some say no. Now I love Hong Rui's solution here, not because he's answering all the questions right and well, but also that he's creative. Instead of typing things up, he writes on, you probably write on your notepad, right, Hong Rui, and then take a photo and upload the picture of that. That's cool. Because later on there might be questions you need to do math. You might need to draw things. Yeah, this is another way of submitting solutions. Cool. So that gets 100 points. Oh no, I'm just joking. Yeah, this is unique, different. English is preferred. Lawrence, very good. No, communication must be in English. Yeah, Shanting. Okay, if I pronounce your name not exactly right, sorry, but feel free to let me know. Just like what Mao did. Okay, Jun Mao did. All right, Qian is teaming up with Feng Ling here. Very well done. Jieming is teaming up with Jia You. Cool. Wow, you guys managed, some of you managed to find teammates real quick. You Ting, very well done. Shu Quan, very good. There you go. Jia Wen. Vincent. Vincent is giving me your name. Not quite yet the answer yet. So Vincent, come back to fill out the answer for Q1 all the way to Q4. All right, Bosch, Guo Bochi. Ah, okay. Bosch, interesting. Well, I don't know if that's the way you pronounce your name, Bosch. Bosch. Okay, depending on where you are from. Bing Rui. Great job. Sheng Ru, very good. Very well done. I want to use another emoji. Okay, how about a heart? Okay. Oh, Vincent, yeah, good. And now this character is a little bit challenging. Is it Ming Yan or Ming Xian? Actually, not quite sure. Okay. Okay, so this is hopefully that I pronounce your name right. But you are teaming up with You Xiang. Very good. Yu Hao. Zong. I think that's Huan, right? Okay, good. Wow, 3-person team. Cool. Yan Jun. Sorry. Is it sorry, Xin Xuan. Okay, so yeah, please advise, okay, how I pronounce your name, all right? Ya Qing. Okay, this one is easy, thank you. Okay, good job. And so, apologies if I mispronounce your name, emoji. And Sheng Wei. Oh, B99. Wow, okay. Chen Tao? The name looks familiar. Oh. So are you my Dao Sheng? Okay, that's a heart. Okay, welcome to the class. Josh. Yeah, Josh has a 3-person team. Bing Sheng, Pin Cheng, and Wei An. Very good. Ze Wei. Well done. And what is this? Oh, it's a bug. Oh, it's so cute. I hope you don't mind that I give you a bug. Okay. Zhi Hao. Very good. Yi De and Hong Rui is a team. Liang Yu. 云旗善庭. Hey, you guys already have a heart. Okay, so how about that I add one more? Right. Huang Yuting, currently a one-member team. There you go. You Kwan. Very good. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, I meant to give that to Yo Kwan, sorry. Great, so that's kind of the way it works. Okay, you see that you also see each other's solutions. You guys are not quite the same, especially for the questions that the answer is not that clear. Okay, so I would really like you to experience something like this. So you don't have to keep these questions in your mind when you are answering things. Say it out loud. Ming Xian, okay, means Xian or Xian. Okay, that's the hardest part of Chinese. The intonations, I hated that. Sorry, I don't mean that I hate Chinese. I hated the process of learning, to pronounce things correctly. Hey, by the way, Mandarin is the hardest language in the world. Okay, I swear to God. All right. Does someone know how to change the language in the Slack? Interesting. Do you mean the manual, the interface part? They probably don't have the Chinese interface yet. Okay, but that's a good question. Because the Slack will then be very friendly for Chinese workspace. Okay, Chinese-based workspace. By clicking your profile. Oh, okay. Good, so Yaqing know better than I do. Okay, extra point for Yaqing there. Lawrence, you can go to preference. Okay. Oh, let me see if I can do that. Click your profile. So maybe here. View profile. Not here. So maybe preference. Language and region. Okay, I've selected US. Oh, there, 繁体中文. Cool. Oh, there. Yeah, all these system native terms. Yeah, I think the menu is now also in Chinese. 未读题集. Wow. Now that's not a very good translation, isn't it? 未读题集. Yeah. There's still some work for Slack to do there, obviously. Hard agree. Go to preference. Mine is set to be Chinese as default and I want it to be English. Yeah, I guess JVT is agreeing to that you get to see others' response. If the different emojis given to the answers mean anything, no, they all mean love. Well, it's a way for me to make sure that I check your answer as well. Okay, I do check everything. Xin, nice. Yeah, there's Ming Hong's answer. All right, so I think that's good enough for quiz 1. So that's kind of the interactions we do live here. You get to see also other students' reaction, responses, what they have in mind. Okay, addressing Polly's questions. I think that's very good learning experience. Probably better than watching over the videos. You can do all those offline. Okay, but the Q&As, the quizzes, it's unique. All right, so that's how about coming back to the lecture? Right. And we'll be entering a new regime starting from chapter 1. Okay. Oh wait. Okay, so sorry about the mistake I had. I had it here, the topics for the next segment of the lectures, and I had it CH2. That means chapter 2. Sorry, that should be chapter 1 and chapter 1.1, chapter 1.2. Okay, so The numberings are not quite correct now. So before we start chapter 2, let me start talking about a few terms and clarify the terms. All right, this is chapter 1, introduction. Well, before we introduce what is internet, let me bring up these terms: human, calculator, computer, system, device, network, communication, information, and data. You see already, right? Some of the terms are very similar. Kind of, you can easily associate them. But some of the terms, if you look at them as a pair, they are somewhat different. Now, if you're asked to try to group these terms based on similarity, feel free to define what you think, how you define similarity. Okay, so let's take some time. I think it's probably not that hard to associate terms. For example, calculators and computers, very similar, just slightly different on the functionality, right? Device systems, seemingly general, but they all kind of refer to a sort of engineered, machinery. But what about network? Is network the same as a device? Or similar to a device? I think starting from there, you guys might be thinking a little bit differently, right? From individual to individual. Well, whatever you guys are thinking, let me show you what pollys language IQ is. Okay, so what I see, based on my background about computer networks, I kind of think that human, calculator, computer, system, device are all entities. Okay, and by the way, pollys language IQ is not always the highest. Well, you know about poly, not very good in terms of language expressing in terms of words. Okay, so I think these human, calculator, computer system, and devices are all entities, and one can actually associate these entities and form a group. For example, all of us, some of us know each other, we form a network of humans. And you could actually try to connect the calculators by Bluetooth interface, for example, then you end up with a network of calculators, right? If you connect a group of computers, then you have a network of computers, network of systems, and a network of, for example, wearable devices. Okay. And if we exchange information over the group of associated entities, then you are communicating this group of humans or this group of computer systems or device. And the stuff, we're communicating over such a network are the information or data. So we send data or information, and these are the things we communicate over the network of computers. So they are somewhat different and allow Poly to try to classify them into these entities, grouping of entities, the function of the group, and the content. We are actually applying function among this group of entities. All right, now think human network. And if we define a human network by how we know each other. So if you guys now know Poly, then you guys are connected to me, right? So you know how to go on Slack and send Poly a direct message. You know how to send Poly a direct email. How about you guys knowing each other? Right? If you guys know each other, then you also have a connection between the two of you, right? So you guys are not just connected to Poly, but some of you are connected to each other. And all of us here sitting in the classroom, we also form a human network, right? Then that should make it a little bit easier to think what is a computer network. It's a network of computers, you guys will probably be saying, right? Intuition says so. You are actually mostly right, okay? But allow me to clarify, in this course, it's not exactly right. So again, in general sense, it is a network of computers, right? Based on our, language IQ, right? Because computers, if we connect them together, it is a network of computers, right? Literally. But in a professional sense, in this course, okay, when people say, or if you read in the textbook that you see this term, computer network, introduction to computer network, but we actually meant more specifically the internet. And this internet, a lot of times we call it computer network, but we also call it this, the data network. So computer network, data network, what else? Sometimes, right, information network. Let me see. Sometimes also this. Communication network. Okay, so they all kind of refer to internet. Okay, but computer network and data network are more specifically to internet. Communication network in professional speaking can also be, for example, 4G net or the telephone network. Telephone network was the old network where you have these wire phones and you just talk to each other instead of texting each other. Okay, so communication network is a little bit general, okay, while data network very specific, okay, professionally speaking, the internet, same as computer network. All right. And just to clarify, but okay, judging on the words, computer network, it is a network of computers, and it's actually referring to a network based on the entities involved. Data network is a network that transmits data. So data here is actually referring to the network based on the content, the stuff, okay, being transmitted. And communication network here is referring to a network because of the function of that network is to allow communication. Okay, so entity, function, and the content, okay, that we're passing or connected as a network. So in other words, okay, you can also define, create your own computer network, not just the internet. So there could be internet version 2, 3, 4, and on. Okay, but those other networks will not be the computer network, the internet that we're using. All right. So you probably see a little bit where Polly is going. The objective in the long term is so that you guys are trained, so you could create your own network that will work better and serve better the need of the people, okay? Especially people that will be living in the future. But in the short term, let's start from learning, okay? The most popular example, the internet. And that takes us to the beginning of chapter 1. All right, so give me a second. Let me bring up the next set of... Oh, wait. Just 1 second. And bring up the second set of videos. And now, that brings us formally to chapter 1. And let's go over the flow of chapter 1. The goal in chapter 1 is so that you guys get a rough idea, get a feel of how internet is like. There'll be a lot more depth and detail later in the course in chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so you will see, right, this being the overview of everything, much of the content you'll be hearing in this chapter will be more descriptions. Okay, so we have this part that's called the edge of the internet. We have that part being called the core of the internet. Yeah, so you just hear a bunch of terms, and then there'll be a little bit more elaboration on other terms. And much of the content concerns internet, but we'll also talk about parts that, communication networks that is not quite called internet and pre-existed before there's internet. Good. And the flow of the chapter is this. We'll start from giving you a nutshell of what internet is in a few slides, like 3-4 slides. Okay, so it's like a crash course. Okay, if you really need to explain to your classmates or other friends, you're taking this course and what is the internet like? Yeah, that will be the part that you tell them what internet is. Now, in that part, we'll give you the physical view of what the internet is. But with just the infrastructure, we cannot be sending emails to each other. We cannot be chatting online through Line or through Slack to each other. So there'll be some rules we need to define how the data are being exchanged, how these computers or entities on the internet interact with each other. So there'll be some rules we need to learn as well. And we call a set of rules controlling a certain mechanism, defining a certain mechanism working on the internet, a protocol. Okay, there'll be a lot more coming. And then these two will be actually to further zoom into the nutshell view of the internet and to give you a little bit more idea how the edge is like and what are the varieties of the edges could be. And then we'll talk about the core. We'll talk about the core. Yeah, this is actually the part that's hidden. They exist, it's just that we don't see it. Okay, there are lots of very expensive routers. They are interconnected, passing data in really, really high speed. So up to this point, you should get a rough feeling of what the internet is and how it's, working in general. Now, the rest of it. Okay, so these are the things concerning internet and that we are supposed to care. Okay, as engineers who might be redesigning internet. So we care about how the internet perform in terms of data loss. Certainly, we don't like to see a lot of data losses. We care also whether it takes a lot of time to send data. Okay, hopefully we will be able to send data with short delay and things like that. And we'll talk about protocol again. There are quite a few protocols that we use actually sending email, browsing the web every day. And there's actually a very special way we group also protocols. So earlier you heard Polly trying to exercise you a little bit more and trying to link certain terms together. You know what? The protocols, because there's so many of these, okay, it's actually better that we kind of structure or sort of group the protocol so that it's a little bit easier to talk about. Okay. And the way network engineers group the protocol is so that we kind of divide them into layers. Within each layer, they are associated, they are similar in a certain way. Okay, so that's also called the service models. Okay, so it's actually a model that network engineers communicate with each other. Okay, classifying protocols into different layers. And then this is nowadays something that we care very much, security, particularly network security. How do we make sure that the data being transmitted are not hijacked, are not hacked, okay, and the secrets are not unveiled? All right, that takes us to the next topic. We'll be looking into the internet and the physical view of it. So first is internet in a nutshell. Now, what is the internet? So this picture that I'm showing is a very coarse-grained view of the internet, where you can kind of see that this part being the ISPs, okay, internet service provider. All there are in these ISPs are just these cylinders with the cross, okay, indicating that this is an exchange. So ISPs, the machines in there are mainly there to do data exchange. And then you guys are here, most of you guys are here. In NTU is an institutional network where you might be accessing the internet through wireless AP, so this is Wi-Fi. Some of you might be sitting in a dorm and having wired connection, having a PC, accessing through wired connection. And some of you might be sitting at home, then your laptop connecting to Wi-Fi AP, and then connect to your ISP, and then to the rest of the internet. Now, some of you might be sitting in a cafe. That would be nice, I know. And then you guys are probably accessing the internet through your 4G network and watching the video on the laptop. That is a mobile network there you are accessing, or you can just call it wireless network if you want. Okay, so this is just saying that there are a number of different ways, a number of different kinds of access to the core of the internet. Now, in a little bit more detail and give you the full nuts and bolts view, so meaning the components. So first of all, you see the entities we are using as users are all these. Okay, computing devices, PC, server, wireless laptop, smartphones. Okay, and these things are called hosts, or more professionally, end systems. Okay. We don't just call them systems because there's one common feature among these special hosts. They are all kind of sitting at the very end of this huge internet. Okay, end systems, very edge of the internet. And then, as I mentioned, right? So whatever machine you're using, whatever end systems you're using, you are connected somehow, right? To a cellular tower, right? To a Wi-Fi AP, to a institutional switch. Okay, so inside NTU, there are also a number of these routers exchanging data because we do have several departments, right? So you see typically institutional networks, there are a few more level of hierarchy than the home network, than the mobile network. But some of you could be accessing the NTU PEEP, a wireless network to the internet, all right? So these access networks, what I meant by access network there, not really there's a network, okay? Really, they are communication links, right? So if it's wireless, then we are using a radio link. If it's wireless and through a satellite modem, it's a satellite link. Now, if you're connected from home, chances high that it's a fiber link. Now, if you are connected through Ethernet I know for sure is copper link. All right, so these are different communication links we might use to access the internet. They can be wireless and wired. Now, these different access link or communication link technologies are all slightly different in terms of this, the transmission rate, the number of bits they can transmit per second, BPS. Now, in this course, computer networks, we also call this transmission rate the bandwidth. It actually meant more the width of the communication band, okay, of the network band. Now, this is somewhat different from if you take electromagnetic wave courses when we're talking about, there's certain frequency band in the EM waves that we're using to transmit modulate bits. Okay, so bandwidth there is also referring to the frequency band. But here, the bandwidth, we actually refer to the network channel band. All right. At the abstract level, it's also a band, but we actually meant the band of slightly different things. And last, very important entity. Most of us don't see a router in our everyday life. If you want to see one, I don't know, check out these videos released by Google and showing their data center. All these, slim boxes there is a router. Okay, and they are running all the time, passing data, forwarding data in really high speed. Okay, and by the way, I'm actually saying the routers forward packets because on the internet, the data are usually divided into chunks. Okay, and these chunks are referred to as packets. So later on, you'll see me saying data packets or data messages. Okay, I actually meant things that are similar, all right? So routers, well, there's just one thing, routers. Of course, these routers are manufactured by different companies, so therefore there are different brand names like Cisco, like D-Link, yeah, lots of them. Juniper, there's another one, a major one in the States. All right. So, end systems, communication link, and routers. So they're pretty much edge and the core, and then the stuff connecting the edge and the core. So that's internet in a nutshell. But let's talk a little bit more about the end systems, the possibilities of the end systems, as well as a little bit more about the structure of the internet. It's actually a network of networks, loosely hierarchical, not very hierarchical, not cleanly hierarchical. Okay, so these are 3 minutes video each. First, possibilities of the end systems. All right, so let me say a little bit more about the end systems with this slide. Laptop, PC, servers, smartphones. These are the things we typically use to connect to the internet. But nowadays, if you go to these electronic shops, if you go do a little bit shopping on the Amazon or PC Home, you see there are these generation of new things coming along, and they can all be connected to the internet. They're called these IoT, the Internet of Things. Yeah, things is a very general term because these things don't have a specific form. So they could be internet capable toaster, internet capable power meter, internet capable mattress, internet capable fridge, and this is a picture frame. Okay. So for example, Watt. This is a smart meter that connects to the internet, and this meter can actually take the reading and go on Twitter and tweet the reading itself. So you can imagine that the power company, power suppliers, energy suppliers can just take the readings from Twitter without taking a trip, okay, to your home. Smart mattress, right? So this mattress can sense how you sleep overnight and provide some feedback to you. This can further be made into something that's a little bit robotic, not just being capable of sensing, and so try to adjust the firmness of the mattress so that to ensure you have a good sleep. Smart fridge, I always like to have one of these. So it actually takes, there are cameras inside, so they take actually photos of the milk. So sometimes when I was in the grocery shop, I would really like to know whether I should be buying milk today. So this smart fridge will be able to remind us, okay, when we're in the grocery shop, whether it's time, okay, to buy milk. Picture frame. I think this is one of the very, very old IoT device. It's connected to the internet, and it was using a way that, hey, so you guys can send recent pictures through these IP frames to your grandpa. So you give these IP frames as a gift to your grandma, and so that every day they kind of see different pictures from you. Now this one is Polly's favorite. It's a smart toaster. So what it does is that it will go on the web and retrieve the weather. Okay, and so when you're making the toast, you kind of burn the mark corresponding to the weather today. So as you're eating it, you know the weather seamlessly, okay, without needing to check on the web. Nice, isn't it? And so those covers kind of all the components that's composing this very coarse-grained internet. But on top of the physical structure, there are also these rules, okay, that's controlling sending, receiving of the data, right? Such as, this is probably the third time that I talked about this term, TCP, HTTP is the protocol, the set of rules, okay, overwatching how you send data over the web. Yeah, so pretty much for each of the service, there is a specific protocol. For each type of service, for data transferring, there is a specific protocol. And so you see in general, the internet is a network of networks. So this is what? A network of a subnetwork, right? So institution network is a network. Home network is a network. Global ISP forms a network. Regional ISP forms a network. And the internet is actually the bigger network of all these smaller networks interconnected each other. And it's loosely hierarchical. Why? If you look a little bit closer, yeah, this mobile network is connected to actually a higher tier ISP, while this home network and institution network is actually connected to a lower tier, a regional ISP. Okay, so it's not necessary that mobile network is level 2 or level 3. Okay, in this case, it's actually level 2 at the similar level as the regional ISP if they share the global ISP. All right, so this is what I meant here. It's loosely hierarchical. And there are parts of the internet being public, okay, meaning everyone involved, okay, in the society, in that region, okay, they will try to donate and to take part in contributing the expense of running that public part of the internet. But for most part of the internet, it's now private. So for NTU, an institutional network to access the institution's ISP, usually we pay. Okay. Similarly, at home, you pay the ISP for access. Similarly here, if you're using 4G, yeah, you pay someone to get access. So these, as long as you're paying, that means you're accessing a private network. Okay. There are occasionally public network, not a whole lot, but usually public network, the reason that we don't pay is because essentially we are contributing part of the work, okay, sharing part of the cost already, okay, by forming a consortium and paying a specific membership fee. All right, so up to this point, what you're seeing is internet, but the physical components that are connected to form the internet. Next Wednesday, tune in, we'll talk about the software, okay, running on these physical components in order to achieve the purpose of sending data around. So that will be the iNet service view. Okay. That's pretty much all for today. If you have any questions, feel free to type things up. What I'm gonna go is to go back to Slack and change what I really doing the end of the week, because we don't have time to discuss quiz number 2 because we have not yet talked about the software, okay, running on the internet. So let me change the announcement. So only quiz 1 is due. Announcement edit. And so that's all for this week. If you don't have any questions, feel free to just tune out, okay, and come back again next Wednesday. So edit, how do I do this? I think just okay, Chinese interface. It gets a little bit harder. 编辑, I think that's it. Change things back here. Okay, good. Just wondering the difference between the two CN classes. That's a very, very good question. Actually, I don't know. We use the same textbook. What I know is that Professor Liao talked really, really fast. But I don't think there's a Golan or Socket programming assignments there. But there should be some sort of programming assignment, but I don't know exactly what they are. Anybody else know? So some of you might be shopping and deciding which one to take. I know the times are different, and I think Thursday afternoon might be a bit more convenient for many of you. Anybody knows? Tell me. Okay, CTL here is asking, would like to ask, how do we actually upload the PAs? Is there a workstation? Okay, very good question, CTL. There's a workstation. It's a Unix workstation, and you'll be given accounts to access the workstation. To submit the PAs, usually you just create a specific directory and then copy your PA's, something.go file, your code, over to the directory. Poly has root access. I can just go there and find out. So it's very easy to submit PAs. Essentially, you work on the PAs, get it to work, and test it on the server, because it's a little bit hard to grade the programming assignments. If you work on PC-based Unix platform versus Mac OS or Linux-based platform, things might be a little bit different. So I ask all students, even if you work on it in a Windows system, upload the code to the server and make sure that it works there. Okay, that way, it's very clear that you get it and it's working. So yes, there's a workstation, and the IP address of the workstation is in the description. And by the way, to access the workstation, you need to be within NTU domain. You will not be able to directly remote log into the workstation. I see. So they cover all the way to chapter 6 and 7, the link layers, okay, and mobile wireless networking. I wonder within 16 weeks if that is still the case. So perhaps chapter 6 or 7 or part of 6 or 7 are the sort of independent self-learn weeks assignment or self-learn period. The stuff you learn during those 2 weeks. Chapter 6, the link layer, it's relatively easy. 7 is essentially extension of 6. Okay. So I would say that the 2 chapters takes together another 2 to 3 weeks. So that's about the time the original semester will be able to allow us teaching. Okay. So before I change the style to accommodate the 16 weeks, yes, you do need to access the VPN. So let me come back to Yanjun's question. Before the university decided to shorten the semester, I can also teach through link layer, chapter 6, and some of chapter 7, but it gets harder and harder. And later on, I find that it's actually better and more effective learning having more interactions. Otherwise, chances high that you spend all the time the semester learning about link layer protocols, other layer protocols, but by the end of the semester, maybe after a few weeks, you forget all about them. Now, yeah, for the PAs, to access the workstation, you need to log into the VPN server within NTU, and then from there, you get to log into Workstation. So the access to the workstation is a little bit like how you access PTT. You download a terminal client, X-terminal client, and you use command line logging to the workstation. So, oh, by the way, to log into NTU's VPN server, there's a specific software you need to install. So go to Jizhong's webpage and find out how you do VPN logging to NTU. And once you get VPN through, then you could just remote login, use X terminals to the workstation directly. I think all these are in the, at least in the video, especially I think PA1 video. How do students from other departments upload homework to EE Workstation? Yeah, I think as long as you are within NTU, you'll be fine. Okay. The question is if you need to, if you are working from home and you want to log into the workstation, then you need to VPN connect to NTU, and then once you're connected, then you can just remote log into the workstation. Is there any recommended way? So maybe let me show you where the VPN webpage is. Okay, so let me go here. One second. Okay, I think NTU CC VPN. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, I think starting from last semester or something like that, it is required that you kind of register before you can use VPN. Yeah, Pulse Secure seems to be the software that the university recommends you to use. Yeah, so starting from the second semester of year 109, you need to apply for it. I wonder if there's an English page for this. You see that this is how it's very challenging to turn NTU into an international university, because it's not very easy to turn this over to English. Well, let's see. Maybe from the front page. But you see that it should be made easy to do. Okay, so I couldn't turn it to English either. There are no knobs here. Okay, VPN. Yeah, it's this page here. Okay, so if you guys discover there's a VPN page and with instructions in English, definitely post it on Slack so the students, international students, if there are any, will have easier access to it. Okay, so 系统操作说明. If you are Windows user, you click into here, and Linux users click here, Mac OS clicking here. Oh, Android and iOS. Oh, cool. Yeah, I think if you get a magic keyboard, you can probably use your iPhone to work on the assignment as well by remote logging in. Here's the link for you to see. Okay. Yunqi, we don't see the link because YouTube does not allow links to go on the chat. Okay, let me come back to Jieming's question. Is there any recommended way to practice Golan? I don't think there's any other way around except exercising it. Sad, don't be. You can try to get around by, removing the / column and the other slash and use something else to connect. Jieming, the easier way, I think the best way, to practice so that you pick up the language is start by doing the foremost programming assignment that you run into studying any programming assignment. Try to use Golan to write hello world. And start from there, see if you can do calculations. And then from there, see if you can refund files. And then apply some operations and then print it out on screen. Okay? Just like how you learn every language. There's usually an initial set of assignments you can follow. I think there's a web page that allow you, it's a tutorial page. Okay, so if you Google, let me see if I can Google Golan tutorial. I think Tim is also trying to provide the link and the link doesn't show. Tim, Yunqi, we don't see the link. So you need to do it this way. Like this. Let me see. Okay, you guys tell me. Okay, you guys let me know if it shows. The HTTP .google.com, because you need to so there's a filter in YouTube chat. It's trying to identify the column / and then the dots in the slash. Okay, so if you remove those key characters, you might get away in posting the links. Yeah, tutorial here. Right, getting started tutorial. Get started with Go. A tour of Go. Okay, I think this is the link that Tim was trying to provide. There you go. Hello world. Okay, it's as simple as this. Can you demonstrate how you signed up to the workstation? Yes, I may. So how about, let me try this. Okay, so this is, okay, so this is you guys. Okay, so why don't I close this and then demonstrate? My Office desktop is a Mac OS system, which is a Unix-based operating system. So what I do is I start a terminal. Let me blow it up. So if you use Windows, you need to download one of those external clients, okay, and then logging. Now, I think there are videos you can find on YouTube demonstrating for different external clients how you log in. So what I'm demonstrating here is if you are a Unix user or you are a Mac user, this is the native way to do remote logging, a Unix native way of doing remote logging. So this is an external. All I need to do is SSH to the workstation, which has a public IP address, which I think it's this. And then you'll be given a account, which means you will have the username. So pollys username is this. And it's gonna prompt you. So I'm actually sending something to the workstation. So this is my desktop, okay? And then there's a workstation. What I am doing now from my desktop is to send a message to the workstation, and then workstation sends something back and ask me for password to continue. So let me type in the password. There, I'm in. You'll see. Okay, this is the command line prompt. Okay, the percentage sign is the prompt for my desktop machine. And my desktop machine is called pollys-iMac. Pollys-iMac. Okay, and my account on the desktop is also Polly Huang. So after I log in successfully, okay, the prompt actually looks different. The dollar sign, it's dollar sign. When will you get the IP and passcode? You will get the IP and passcode. I think I can. So the team needs to be firm. Otherwise, I will be giving away lots of accounts. Okay, so I'll be giving the accounts out. I think maybe after Wednesday. Okay, so guys, maybe you guys want to work harder to confirm the teams. Okay, that way I know a little bit better how many accounts, so that I can distribute the accounts to you. IP address, it's in the description. Let me go to the course page here. Oh, by the way, let me just finish here. So on the workstation, the way of displaying the prompt is a little bit different. The machine's host name is here, XDN4202221. Now the machine's name is given by the department. You will see that all the machines on the 42 subnet, oopsie, all the machines on the 42 subnet share this part of the host name. Okay. So I am machine number 221 on the subnet. And then username Polly Huang. So host name first and then username. My desktop actually starts from username and then ends with the host name. The PDF says the IP ends is, but you use 220. No, I actually use 221 here. Okay, I'm SSH to 140.112.42.221. Yeah, so my desktop uses 220. Okay, it's okay. You can retract the message. That's okay. Let me come back to this. So if I go to the course page, down here, assignments, you see programming assignment number 1. If you click in here, you see the PDF file, the description of assignment number 1. Okay. Read through it. First step to start is to get an account. And then the IP address is right here. When you're given the account, you have the username and the password, you'll be able to log in. For Windows user, okay, download one of these external clients. I think PuTTY or PuTTY. I'm not quite sure if anyone is maintaining PuTTY, because that is the Chinese localized version of PuTTY. I would suggest using PuTTY. It's a little bit more straightforward. Do we need to mail you our group members so that you can know that we have already formed a group? You don't have to email me. What you do is to go on the Slack, quiz 1, okay, and modify. So W1 and quiz 1. Okay. So if you are changing the formations, just say that, okay, now you are a team. Okay. and the members are this and that. So you can edit the post. So how long do you guys need? I know this semester the time is particularly shorter somehow. Quiz number, PA number 1 is very, very simple. Okay, it'll probably take just half an hour, maybe 1 hour at the most, okay, to get it done. I would still suggest that maybe after Thursday, after I distribute the ad codes, okay, I distribute the accounts. Essentially, how I distribute the account is this. Towards the end of the lectures on Thursday, I would just say these are the team numbers, okay? And the user account, the username for each team is this. Okay, so there is a pattern, and you just need to use your team number there for the wildcard part. Okay, and the password is probably similar to login, and then you have access. Okay, so the account username is based on the team number. So the critical time point is that I assign team numbers to you guys. Okay. So what I will do is to go over W1 Quiz 1 channel, and starting from the top and say, hey, you are team 1, you are team 2, you are team 3 and stuff. So I'm gonna make an announcement, okay, and say that make sure that you have your teams settled, okay, by the end of the lectures on Thursday. And then afterwards, I'll be assigning teams, and I'll be also distributing the ad codes. Right after that, you guys can work on the assignment. You have Friday, okay, and most of Saturday to work on it. So I guess the challenging part will be more how to do VPN logging. Part 1, I think one of these part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4s describe how you do VPN logging. If you don't need to do VPN logging, things are a little bit easier. For the PA1 and PA2 as well, you don't need the port assignments, this thing up here. You don't need a port assignment. Starting, I think, from assignment 3, PA3, you will need a port assignment. Once again, I would also announce what will be the assigned port numbers for each team. And we are definitely running overtime and way longer, although this is the office hours as well. Okay, but on Wednesday I'm gonna describe it again. Maybe I type up something on the announcement so that you guys know a little bit more about the process, okay, of the deadline, forming teams, the deadlines that I'll be giving you the team number, and so how much time you have there working on PA1. Before now and then, I would suggest you start looking into the description of PA1, okay, the Unix comments here. Do you need to mail you? Yeah, no need to email me. Just edit your post here on Slack. So if you manage to merge team with other students, you guys will talk about which post you remove. Okay. So if you merge, then you can remove one of you guys' post. Okay. And the one remaining, you need to make sure that you type up the name and student ID of the students merging into your group. Very good, very good. Yeah. Oh, I see. There are probably lots of exchange on random. Okay. Oh wow, Mindy is a LIS4 student. Studied some computer science programming course within and outside of my department. Would like to ask whether I can join you. Oh, I see. High demand here. 4 replies. Liang Yu Lu. Lu, right? Lu, Liang Yu. Okay, also gets a lot of replies. Very good. There you go. And definitely be kind to each other. I just love diversities. So isn't it a little bit boring that you discover suddenly that the people around you are all geeky EE students, right? How about, make a change and get to know people from outside of EE department? So I can tell Mindy's English is good. Okay, hey guys, grab her. What is LIS? Is it information science? Library information science? Cool. Welcome. Big welcome. Okay, let me just say more. Here. Good to have you here. Okay. Liang Yu. Okay, E student. Okay, yeah. Sorry, not that yeah. Okay, so I do have a slight bias towards international students outside of EE. So, but it's more to try to balance the composition, having a little bit of diversity. All right, good. I think I have a post to make so that I get this, initial weeks of stuff when I expect things to happen done, and the next thing I will do afterwards. And I'm gonna do it offline on Slack. So I'm gonna call it a day and stop the stream now. Bye.